My name is Sandra Bemis. I'm 26 years old. And 6 hours ago, I watched my entire relationship end in the comment section of an Instagram post. What's strange is, I didn't panic. No shaking hands, no tears, no dramatic breakdown. Just this quiet, almost unsettling calm, like somewhere deep inside me. I had already known this was coming. Marcus and I had been together for 14 months. We met at a Super Bowl party, mutual friends, loud music, cheap drinks, the kind of night where everything feels effortless. And at first it was. Marcus had this presence about him, confident, polished. He worked in marketing, had around 12,000 followers on Instagram, and treated that number like it meant something about who he was. Maybe to him it did. Me? I was simpler. I worked IT support at a healthcare company. Stable job. Quiet routine. I made decent money, but I didn't need people to see it. I drove a car that worked. I wore what was comfortable. I wasn't trying to impress strangers on the internet. And in the beginning, he said he liked that about me. Said I was real. Funny how that word slowly turned into something else. At first, the comments felt harmless. "You've got potential," I laughed, brushed it off. Told myself it was just how couples teased each other. But over time, the tone changed. The jokes got sharper, more precise. He'd make comments about my job in front of people. She basically babysits computers all day. He'd look at my car like it personally offended him. He'd step into my apartment and say, "It's cute," in a college student kind of way. And every time, his friends would laugh. So I laughed too. Because when someone you love makes you smaller, you start learning how to shrink without making it obvious. Not because I wanted one. Because he had a work event coming up, and his words, not mine. "I just want us to match energy." I remember that sentence more than I should. Match energy. Like I was something unfinished. Something that needed fixing. 2 weeks ago, we went to his company's summer party. I actually tried that night. Picked something nice. Made sure I looked presentable. I thought I looked good. But when he introduced me to his coworkers, he smiled and said, "This is Sandra. She's a friend." A friend. 14 months together, reduced to one word. Said he didn't want to complicate things professionally. So I let it go. Like I always did. Until today. I was scrolling Instagram when I saw it. A photo from last weekend, someone's birthday party. We were both smiling in it. I remember that moment. I remember thinking we looked happy. The caption said, "When you realize you're dating down, number honest moments, number settling." I didn't react right away. I just stared at it. The comments were already pouring in. "Girl, you're too pretty for him. You deserve someone on your level." Laughing emojis. Agreement. Validation. And maybe that's what hurt the most. Not just that he thought it, but that he needed an audience to confirm it. I could have called him, texted him, handled it privately, but he didn't choose private. He chose public. So, I stayed right there, in the same space he created. I liked the post. Then I commented, "You're free to date up now. Wish you the best." Simple. Clean. No emotion. And then I waited. The notifications hit almost immediately. Confusion. Reactions. People trying to figure out if it was a joke or something real. It wasn't a joke. So I made one more move. Just me. Standing in natural light, looking calm. Caption. Single. And finally, leveling up. I tagged him. That's when everything started to spiral. Within an hour, both posts were everywhere. People jumping between profiles, screenshots spreading, messages flooding in, some supportive, some curious, some just watching for entertainment. And then she appeared. His ex-girlfriend. I didn't know her personally, but I knew the name. The one he mentioned just enough times for it to feel unfinished. She commented under his post, "Dating down? That's funny. I still have the texts." Everything changed. The laughter stopped. The tone shifted. People started asking questions. And for the first time since I saw that post, I felt something different. Not anger, not sadness, clarity. Because suddenly, it wasn't just about one humiliating caption. It was about everything I ignored before it. My phone started ringing. Marcus, calling. Again and again. I stared at his name lighting up my screen and let it ring. For the first time in 14 months, I didn't feel like I owed him an answer. I didn't answer Marcus that night. Not his calls, not his texts. I wasn't trying to fix anything. I was just watching. Watching everything unravel. Within 20 minutes of his ex's comment, the original post disappeared. Gone. Deleted like it had never existed. But it was too late for that. Screenshots were already everywhere. Group chats, Instagram stories, even a couple of those dating drama pages had picked it up. The narrative had flipped. Completely. The same people who were laughing under his caption were now asking why he'd been messaging his ex while in a relationship. His comment section went from validation to interrogation in under an hour. Mine was strange. Supportive, mostly. People I barely knew telling me I handled it with class. A few messages from women saying they'd been in the same position. A few guys just sending respect, like I'd done something heroic. I didn't feel heroic. I felt tired. Around 8 p.m. his name finally showed up again, but this time it wasn't a call. It was a text. "Marcus, why would you do that to me?" I stared at the message for a long moment before replying. "Me? Do what?" 3 dots appeared instantly. "Marcus, you humiliated me in front of everyone." I actually laughed. Not loudly. Just quietly. "Me. You posted a photo of us calling me a downgrade to 12,000 people." A pause. Then Marcus. "It was a joke. You weren't supposed to take it seriously." There it was. That word. Joke. The same shield he'd used for 14 months. Me? Funny. I didn't laugh. He didn't respond right away. When he did, the tone had shifted. "Marcus, can we just talk about this in private? This is getting out of control." I looked at that message for a long time. Because he was right about one thing. It was out of control. Just not in the way he thought. Before I could respond, another notification popped up. A DM. His ex. I hesitated for a second, then opened it. Her. "Hey. I know this is weird, but I think you deserve to know the full story." My chest tightened slightly. I didn't reply right away. She sent another message. Her. "He's been messaging me your entire relationship." And just like that, whatever uncertainty I had left disappeared. She didn't flood me with paragraphs, didn't try to comfort me. She just sent proof. Screenshots. Dates. Messages. Casual check-ins at first. "Hey, saw something that reminded me of you. Hope you've been good." Every couple of months. Then one message stood out. 6 months into my relationship with Marcus. A long one. I read it slowly. Every word. He called me nice. Said I was stable. Then, "But I feel like I'm settling. It's not the same as what we had." My fingers went cold. I kept reading. He asked her if she'd ever consider trying again. Said maybe they could just talk. Her response was simple. "You have a girlfriend." His reply? "It's complicated." I stared at that sentence for a long time. It's complicated. 14 months. Meeting families. Making plans. And to him, I was complicated. She sent one more message. Her. I didn't respond after that. But he reached out again 2 weeks ago. Another screenshot, this time shorter. Are you still with him? That was it. That was all it took for something inside me to shift completely. Because suddenly, everything made sense. The comments, the distance, the way he looked at me sometimes like I was almost enough, but not quite. I wasn't his choice. I was his placeholder. I typed back slowly. Me. Thank you for telling me. She responded almost instantly. Her. I'm not doing this for him. I didn't reply after that. There wasn't anything left to say. About an hour later, my phone rang again. Unknown number. I almost ignored it. But something told me not to, so I answered. Hello? A male voice. Calm. Direct. Hey, this is Ryan. I didn't recognize the name at first. Then it clicked. Her ex. Marcus's ex. Ex. This situation was getting ridiculous. I figured, I said quietly. There was a short pause. I just wanted to make sure you got everything, he said, and give you some context. I leaned back against my couch, suddenly very aware of how quiet my apartment felt. She's been reaching out to me the entire time you two were together. Not constantly, but enough. I ignored most of it. I'm with someone now. Another pause. But 6 months in, she sent that message you saw? Asked if we could try again. I read it, I said. Yeah, he replied. I told her no. Told her to focus on her relationship. I let out a breath I didn't realize I was holding. And 2 weeks ago? I asked. He gave a short, humorless laugh. She tried again. Of course she did. I didn't respond that time, he continued. Not because I was overwhelmed, but because everything finally aligned. All the confusion, all the doubt, gone. Replaced by something much cleaner. Clarity. Why tell me now? I asked. There was a pause on the other end. Because he's already telling people you're crazy, Ryan said bluntly. That you overreacted. That you twisted the situation. I let out a quiet breath. Of course he was. Figures, I murmured. I've seen this before, Ryan added. He doesn't like losing control of the narrative. I almost smiled at that. Too late. He'd already lost it. Thanks, I said simply. You deserved better than that. We hung up after that. No drama. No lingering conversation. Just truth. I set my phone down on the table in front of me. For a long time, I didn't move. Didn't cry. Didn't rage. I just sat there, thinking about the past 14 months, replaying moments I used to question, now seeing them clearly for what they were. It wasn't love. Not really. It was convenience. It was ego. It was him needing someone who wouldn't challenge the way he saw himself. And me. Accepting less than I deserved because I thought it was normal. My phone buzzed again. Marcus. Calling. By the next morning, I wasn't angry anymore. That surprised me. After everything I'd read, everything I'd finally understood, I thought I'd feel rage, betrayal, something loud and overwhelming. But instead, it was quiet, like a door had closed somewhere inside me and locked itself. Marcus texted again around noon. Marcus, can we meet? Just talk. Please. I stared at the message longer than I needed to. Part of me wanted to ignore it. Stay exactly where I was in this strange, steady calm. But another part of me wanted closure. Not for him. For me. So I replied, me, 1 hour. Public place. Marcus, thank you. We met that afternoon at a small coffee shop near my office. Neutral ground, no memories attached. He was already there when I walked in. And for the first time in 14 months, he didn't look composed. His hair was slightly messy. Dark circles under his eyes. His phone sitting face down on the table like it had betrayed him. Good. I ordered my drink, took my time, then sat across from him. For a moment, neither of us spoke. Then, I'm sorry, he said. Just like that. No build-up. No excuses. Just 2 words. I leaned back slightly, studying his face. Just observing. Okay, I said calmly. He blinked, like he expected more. That's it? He asked. I tilted my head slightly. What did you expect? A pause. I thought we could talk through this, he said carefully. Figure it out. I almost smiled. Figure out what, Marcus? He ran a hand through his hair, frustrated. You know what happened. The post, everything. I let a second pass. Then another. You publicly called me a downgrade? I said evenly. You've been texting your ex for most of our relationship. You told her you were settling for me. His face went pale. There it was. Not denial. Just panic about being exposed. Does it matter? I asked. He clenched his jaw. It does if someone's twisting things. I leaned forward slightly, my voice still calm. You asked her to take you back 6 months into our relationship. Silence. You reached out again 2 weeks ago. More silence. So, no, I continued softly. I don't think anything's being twisted. He looked down at the table. For a moment, I thought he might actually take responsibility. But then, I was confused, he said. Of course. I didn't know what I wanted. I nodded slowly. That's not fair. I let out a quiet breath. Neither was what you did. That landed. I could see it in the way his shoulders dropped slightly. I never meant to hurt you, he said. Quieter now, and for the first time there was something real in his voice. Regret, but not for me, for the consequences. I believe you, I said. He looked up, surprised. I don't think you meant to hurt me, I continued. I think you just didn't care enough not to. That one stayed in the air between us. Heavy, uncomfortable. True. I did care, he said quickly. I do care. I shook my head gently. Stability. Attention. Someone who didn't challenge you. His expression tightened. That's not true. Then why was I never enough? I asked quietly. He didn't answer. Because there wasn't one. We sat there in silence for a few seconds. The noise of the coffee shop faded into the background. People talking, cups clinking, life continuing like nothing had happened. I was going to leave, I said suddenly. He looked up. What? I just didn't know when, I added. That wasn't entirely true, but it felt true now. Then why didn't you? He asked. I held his gaze. I could see it in his eyes, because deep down he knew he hadn't. Not once. I finished my coffee, setting the cup down carefully. I think we're done here, I said. Sandra, he started. I stood up. No. I cut him off gently. We've said everything that matters. He looked like he wanted to argue, to explain, to fix something that had already been broken long before today. But he didn't, because for once there was nothing left for him to control. I reached into my bag, left money on the table for both drinks, and turned to leave. He didn't follow me, didn't call after me, and somehow that felt like the most honest thing he'd done in our entire relationship. The fallout didn't end that day. Of course it didn't. Things like that never do. For a while, the noise kept going. Posts, messages, people, choosing sides. He tried to shift the story, told people I overreacted, that I made things public. But the truth was already out there, and it didn't need my help anymore. A few days later, I heard he was having issues at work. Nothing official, just whispers. People questioning his judgment, his professionalism. I didn't celebrate it. But I didn't feel bad either, because for the first time his actions were catching up to him. Not mine. Mine had already caught up to me a long time ago, in the form of self-doubt, silence, and slowly shrinking into someone I didn't recognize. That part, I was done with. About a week later, I got a message from his sister. Short, unexpected. I'm sorry. I didn't know everything. I read it twice, then replied, I appreciate that. That was it. No anger, no closure needed. Just acknowledgement. And somehow, that was enough. The last message came late at night, 2 a.m. I almost didn't open it, but I did. I'm sorry. Not the kind that expects anything back. Just sorry. You didn't deserve how I treated you. I see that now. I read it once, then again, and then I put my phone down. I didn't reply. Not because I was angry, not because I wanted to punish him, but because I didn't need to. That message wasn't for me. It was for him. And for the first time, I didn't feel responsible for what he needed. Now, things are quiet. My apartment feels different. Some nights, it feels peaceful. Some nights, a little empty. But it's honest. I've been thinking a lot about what I learned from all of this. And the biggest one is simple. Pay attention to the small things. The jokes, the comments, the way someone makes you feel when no one else is looking. Because those small things, they're never small. They're just early. I'm not dating right now, not because I'm broken, but because I finally understand what I deserve. And I'm not willing to negotiate that anymore. I'd rather be alone than be someone's version of almost enough. And for the first time in a long time, that doesn't scare me. It feels like freedom.